Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger card collector, coming to you with another video. This week's video is going to be a video response for Ground Chuck, who just hit 406 subscribers, which is incidentally the same batting average that Ted Williams had in 1941. And Chuck has asked us to show a card of a record that will never be broken. And I thought that was just an interesting subject to look at, just because baseball is filled with so many records. And when you look at your baseball cards, you're kind of like going, what can I talk about? That's a little different than just talking about home run leaders and RBI leaders. And what I decided to do was talk about four particular players. In today's era, in the era of free agency, keeping your homegrown core of players together for more than a few years is really a difficult task. We see players leave via free agency, via trades. Sometimes organizations just get tired of a guy who played starting shortstop for 3 years and they release him. So what I wanted to talk to you today was about the longest running infield. And that occurred on June 23rd, 1973. That was the debut of the Dodgers' longest running infield, which featured first baseman Steve Garvey in his 1971 Topps rookie, second base Davey Lopes in his 1974 Topps, shortstop Bill Russell in his 1970 Topps rookie card, and third base, the Penguin, Ron Cey, featured in his 1974 Topps card. I chose not to use either the 72 or the 73 rookie cards that were featured. But these guys, as I mentioned, debuted as an infield together on June 23rd, 1973. They played roughly 9 seasons together from 1973 through 1981. This quartet anchored 4 pennant winners and one world championship finally in 1981. They had lengthy careers with the Dodgers and moved on to other teams. Bill Russell was the first to join the organization. He was chosen in the 9th round of the 1966 amateur draft out of Kansas High School, while Garvey, Lopes, and Cey were all drafted by the Dodgers in the 1968 draft. For those of you that have watched some of my previous videos, I spoke a couple of weeks ago about the Dodgers 1968 draft. Part of this Dodger bumper crop in 1968, one that was hailed as the most successful in draft history, were pitchers Doyle Alexander and Jeff Zahn, first baseman Bill Buckner, outfielders Joe Ferguson, Tom Paciorek, Bobby Valentine. All spent at least 10 years in the majors. Some of these guys didn't last with the Dodgers, like Doyle Alexander was eventually traded to the Orioles for Frank Robinson, and Jeff Zahn was included in a trade that brought starting pitcher Bert Hooton from the Cubs. Also, Dodger GM Al Campanis eventually traded Paciorek, Buckner, and Ferguson in bigger deals that brought Dusty Baker, Rick Monday, and Reggie Smith to the Dodgers. And if those of you out there that remember the 1970s Dodgers, this was a powerful and productive outfield that complemented this longest running infield during the latter years of this run. So draft picks were really important back in those days. I think they still are today, but as I mentioned, teams tend to trade their players really quick these days. Now, some of you might be going, there has to be a longer running infield. And yeah, like Tinkers, Evers, and Chance, they played 9 seasons together, but their first baseman only played 5 seasons with them. Or you might say in the 70s, what about the Reds? Well, Concepcion, Morgan, and Concepcion, Perez, Morgan, and Concepcion, they played roughly 5-6 years together, but they were constantly changing third baseman, including Pete Rose. More current day, you would have Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, but the Phillies also were changing third baseman. Ryan Howard didn't stay as long as everyone thought he would. So you get just these constant influxes of players. Check out your favorite team today and see how long that infield's been together. You won't find it to be very long. So that's why I felt this is a record that will never be broken. The Dodger infield of Steve Garvey, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, and Ron Cey. Again, Ground Chuck, that's awesome. Congrats on 406 subscribers. And we will see you all next week with a new video. Take care.